I'd like to now call the meeting on Board of Supervisors back in order. Can I get a motion that we close closed session?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second that we close closed session. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Staff requests that you approve certification of the closed meeting, Resolution 21-01, please.
I move we approve Resolution 21-01 as presented.
Is that the evaluation performance?
Everything that happened in closed
The
session.
ones that we did.
The ones that we
Okay.
actually
Okay.
did, yes. All right, it has been moved. I did not hear a second.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we approve Resolution 21-01. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Staff also request approval of the agenda with one added item in closed session under personnel.
I move we approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Staff is also requesting approval of the consent agenda. It consists of the minutes of the June 15th meeting, minutes of the June 25th meeting, budgetary matters, warrants, and Resolution 21-03, personnel matters resulting from closed session.
I have a question. All right, we have the EAGLE scholarship for $10,000. What is that? I was seeing it was Eagle Scholarship. I was thinking that way, but it's an acronym. It has E period. So what is that?
It is the Eagle Scholarship.
And where did it go to?
It goes to all of the graduating seniors from Greensville County High School that are accepted and attend Southside Virginia Community College.
Okay, 'cause I know when the guidance counselor said she don't remember ever receiving anything from
That's-
this scholarship.
The It- guidance counselor does not receive it. It is handled through Southside. Any child that graduates from Greensville County High School that applies and takes classes, they are automatically on the receiving end of funds from the scholarship.
Okay, is there any way we could maybe get the names of whoever it went to then?
I'm sorry?
Can we have the name of who gets the scholarship? I'd like to know who got it.
How long?
Huh?
How long? For what period of time?
But just for this year. Whoever received it this year. Because I that's why I want to have an understanding. So when you said the Eagle Scholarship, I didn't, so you're saying that they have to go to Southside College, okay?
Right.
Okay.
I'd like approval of the consent
I
agenda,
move we approve
please.
the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
Tonight, we have a public hearing. It's on the proposed Greensville County ordinance in regards to central absentee precinct. In your agenda, it's item N. Madam Chair, can we have a motion to go into public hearing? It's item M.
Yeah.
And can I get a motion that we go into public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we go into public hearing. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Strong?
Aye.
Mr. King?
Aye.
There was a notice of the public hearing advertised in the Independent Messenger. It was also posted on the website. The Greensville County Board would be holding the hearing this evening to consider an ordinance to amend and reordain Chapter 7 of the Greensville County Code so as to provide for the creation of a central absentee ballot precinct for all elections. There were no comments received before the deadline of noon today. So unless you all have questions regarding the ordinance change, we can probably go out of public hearing. I just have one question, just for clarification. So basically, we're changing the ordinance to have one place where people can absentee vote from, is what you're saying? Susan? Absentee ballots will be received here at the registrar's office. I think in the past, they have been handled differently. Now, anyone can come to the registrar's office, vote before the elections. A 45-day window, Susan? Let me let you stand here.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Good evening.
The central absentee precinct is the registrar's office. It allows people to come in and vote in person. previously, when they voted in person, their ballot was delivered to the precinct where they're registered.
Okay,
This will be a entirely different, extra machine, voting
Okay.
machine
So
here.
okay.
then that, the machine count would go like they did at the regular voting place? That's how this going to work?
It does.
Okay, okay. And I'm assuming, if I understand this correctly too, when person come in the past, you had to tell why you was doing the absentee voting. We don't have to do it now.
No excuse is something entirely different from central absentee precinct.
Explain that again?
No excuse voting is different. That's a whole different topic than what the central absentee precinct is.
That means you don't have to have an excuse, you can vote there?
You do not.
Right.
Right, this, yeah, okay. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion that we go out of public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and second that we return back to regular session. All those in favor with a roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
So staff is requesting that you take action on the ordinance for the central absentee precinct. It's attachment N in your agenda.
I move we approve the ordinance as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve the ordinance for central absentee precinct. All those in favor with a roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
There were no items for appointments. There were no citizens' comments received today by the deadline. Under other matters, we have a number of items tonight. The first is a request to abandon Three Creek Drive. Mr. Pope?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good afternoon.
I messed you up that time, didn't I?
In your packet, you'll see a letter I received from CIMC back in April, the end of April, requesting that the county abandon Three Creeks Drive. Of course, this was when COVID started, and we were only conducting business necessary to move the county forward, so this has been put on the back burner. But anyway, I attached a map. I think that illustrates it easier than trying to read it in a paragraph written form. But CIMC has purchased all the property that Three Creek Drive serves. Everything you see in green, it is 20 Three Creek Drive, 34, which is the old Quality Culvert. And then they also bought this 9 acres, parcel 98N, that belonged to Quality Culvert. So Three Creeks Drive serves no other properties right now, and it presents a little bit of a problem for CIMC having 3 different gates and everything. So they've requested that the board begin the abandonment process of Three Creeks Drive to take it out to state systems, since it's not being used by the general public and it's not used to access any other properties other than that's owned by CIMC. Russell, we typically have never done a resolution, and today he sent me a resolution. Typically, we have to notify the Commonwealth Transportation Board of the intent to abandon. We have to publish a willingness to hold a public hearing. We typically do that here at the courthouse and in 2 issues of the paper. If nobody requests a public hearing, we have another meeting, and y'all can take action on the abandonment, and then it goes to the Commonwealth Transportation Board. They handle everything after that. So I will pass out this resolution that I received from Russell this afternoon, which basically says everything my letter says.
Okay. We'll give it twice.
Thank you.
So if you would like for me to begin the abandonment process, I will do everything that VDOT requires, which I just stated would be to post this at the courthouse, post the notice of willingness in the paper. Then we'll have to wait the required time after we post the willingness. Earliest I can bring this back to you will be August 17th at that meeting.
So we need to vote on this resolution.
Yes, you need to
this
approve it,
Okay.
the intent to abandon. You're not abandoning it, you're just approving the intent to abandon to start the process for VDOT.
I move we approve resolution 21-04 as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve resolution 21-04. All those in favor with a roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The next item on your agenda is a resolution. It's an appropriations resolution to actually appropriate the CARES relief funds that were awarded to Greensville County. Attachment P in your agenda. I think that last meeting, Mr. Cyphers gave you a very comprehensive overview of these CARES relief funds. So now we're taking care of the housekeeping items so that they can be appropriated and be ready for expenditure. It's Resolution 21-02 in the amount of $989,022. Staff requests your approval.
I move we approve Resolution 21-02 as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we approve Resolution 21-02. All those in favor with a roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Payne?
Aye.
The next item on your agenda is the Greensville County Security Policy and Technology Use Guidelines as developed by our IT Director, Mr. Ernie.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I believe that attachment Q in your agenda packet is the Greensville County Technology Policy, the Technology Guidelines, and the Agreement page. This policy consists of basic guidelines for our employees to follow while using the county devices and/or on the county network. The guidelines state the acceptable, the unacceptable use of county devices and the use of the network, security updates including password complexity, routine password changes, screen lockouts, and using an encrypted password management system for all account credentials. Staff is recommending the board's approval of the Greensville County Technology Policy, the Technology Guidelines, and the Agreement page.
Have they signed, they're supposed to sign, right, before they use it? Or have
Yes,
signed
they would
already?
have to read this, agree to it, and sign it. After, after the board meeting, if it's approved or not approved, however the board meeting goes, we'll determine the deadline date. We'll determine a deadline date that they'll have to have it read, and then a deadline for them to sign it.
I move we approve the security policy and guidelines as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and second that we pass the Security Policy and Technology Use Guidelines. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Payne?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
The next item on your agenda is an appointment to the Virginia's Growth Alliance with the resignation of our Economic Development Executive Assistant. We do have a vacancy on that board.
Who is filling in that position now?
Nobody.
Nobody.
This is an alternate. This is an alternate, not
So does it need to be a employee, a staff member,
It's your
a board
choice.
member?
your choice.
I'm already on it. Don't look at me.
Give it some thought, because with the 4th of July, why don't we do this at the next meeting? I haven't even given it a thought, who would, unless y'all have somebody, I don't know.
I mean, Mr. Cyphers, would you consider serving on this? Yes, sir. I'd like to appoint Mr. Cyphers.
I second.
It has been moved and second that we appoint Mr. Gary Cyphers as our alternate representative on the Virginia Growth Alliance. All those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Payne?
The last item on this evening's agenda is a COVID-19 update from Mr. Owens.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
COVID is still alive and kicking.
Very well.
Shows its little ugly head every day.
Got a call right before I came in.
The COVID. The COVID-19 cases, when I pulled the information and printed this cover letter earlier today, again, Crater Health, because of the holiday, hadn't furnished the numbers. So I went to the VDM website, and VDM claims that we have 511 cases between the county and the city. And while I was waiting to come up, my phone went off, and Cradle published it, and when I counted up, we had 455 cases according to Cradle that's made it from the public, Richmond, or the State Health Department down to Cradle. So whether we pick 455 or 511, we still got a lot of positive cases, or have had a lot of positive cases in this community. And every time I stand up here, I'm gonna preach it several times, but residents are reminded to continue practicing social distancing, wash their hands frequently with warm water and soap for at least 20 minutes, but 20 seconds, or use hand sanitizer when washing your hands is not practical. Limit exposure to people outside of the home, limit your shopping trips, and exposure to people out in the community. Wear face masks or covering, if possible, when in public places, all right? So that's the message that we need to continue to preach to the community, and hopefully, when, as we go through this, we will have preached it enough to where it becomes second knowledge and things, all right? The folks, so they don't have to think about it. The Greensville Emporia Transit reopened effective today. Today was their first day back on the route. To get the word out to the community, we had code red alerts that went out to both city and county residents. We had the webpage, county webpage, the city webpage, and we also used the Chamber of Commerce's webpage to get that out. And riders are required to wear masks while riding the bus unless they have a medical condition that will prevent them otherwise. Now, due to HIPAA laws and the Disabilities Act, we can't inquire on why a person cannot wear a mask in public, but the drivers also have masks available, so that if a person goes to board the bus, we can hand them a disposable mask, while they're getting on the bus. They also have hand sanitizer available while they're on the bus also. Greensville County's first solo mobile test site will happen this coming Thursday night from 6 to 7:30 in the town of Jarrett at the Jarrett Fire Station, right? Crater Health District, they picked the Jarrett community because the map that I have attached, if you look community-wise in the county, and it's more concentrated cases in that geographical location than it was anywhere else in the county. So Crater wanted to conduct the first one up on that end of the county, and then as we go forward, they'll set up more testing, and we may go back to doing them in conjunction with the city, close, so that we hit each election district when we get through the final processes. The Greensville County Government Center is scheduled to reopen on Monday, July the 13th. The residents are encouraged to continue to use online payments and the Dropbox payments. And, if they have to come into the building, we'll ask them also to wear a mask when they're coming in. If they're going to have face-to-face interaction within 6 feet of an employee, and employees will be required to wear a mask also, all right, when they come in. We'll have the footprints put down to remind people of the 6-foot social distancing. Basically, if you think about 6 foot, if you hold both arms out side by side like this, most people, you're going to hit about that six foot mark. So we'll have that available for them. The main thing is we want to keep the community safe, and we want to keep the employees safe while conducting business with Greensville County.
And let's have some discussion around that.
Say what?
I've got some concerns. Let's have some discussion around that, because I've got some concerns about opening the building back to the public right now.
Right.
I mean, we just went through a holiday weekend. We know what the numbers did Memorial Day weekend. And we don't know what's going to happen with this weekend we just went through. So I really think we need to postpone this opening a week or two longer. I think we need to extend it for the safety of our people here in the building.
All right, okay.
I mean, that's just my feeling.
We've had other, and you know, if the board is in agreement with it, now we can postpone it as long as you want. We had stated and briefed earlier that unless, you know, there was guidance from y'all, that as soon as the governor went into phase 3 and things, we would do that. But we can very easily move this back as many weeks as you feel comfortable.
I think we need to go back at least 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just my personal feeling.
I agree.
Well,
Better than
well, I tell you what, let's.
Let's look
when's
at it
our
in
next-
2 weeks.
Next meeting's the
In
20th.
2
Let's get a
weeks.
report on the 20th and see what the numbers have done then.
Okay.
Make a decision at that point.
Right.
Also, now that we have the bus back up and running, did we put like plexiglass barriers around the driver?
Yes,
I know we had
ma'am.
mentioned we were gonna do that one time.
Yes,
As
ma'am.
far as the cleaning of the bus, did we like invest in fumigation system? I know that's what
It-
they're using on a lot of transportation
Because
vehicles
of the
now.
size of our buses, a regular, if you spray Lysol or Clorox, either one, and I prefer Lysol. If you spray Lysol and let it air dry overnight, any germs that are in the bus, it's gonna take care of them. All right, is what I've been told with guidance from DRPT. The fumigation system, I ordered bombs to go, you know, to disinfect them, and they've been back ordered since March. And I don't know when they'll come back in the supply chain. As soon as they do, we'll do it. But when I read the directives from DRPT, and DRPT said, you know, by using Lysol sanitizer and spraying it and letting it air dry overnight, it's gonna take care of it. And the way we swap our buses off is like the Pony Express. In other words, you know, we use one bus for the first shift, and then we have the second bus for the second shift. So therefore, we can clean those buses, you know, thoroughly. And the drivers have been instructed to do that at the end of the shift.
Right, just as a precautionary during each shift, is there a way that we can, after so much time passes by, they automatically have that extra stop to re-sanitize the bus even during?
We can modify it. It may throw the bus off a schedule because we run a tight schedule.
I think that's something worth throwing it off schedule for,
we're
just to make
we're
sure that
limiting
the
the
public
passengers.
is
I was
safety.
mean that bus got cleaned tonight, but it don't get cleaned during that whole shift again?
It wouldn't, it's not being cleaned, and I don't know of any bus service that's stopping and cleaning, but I mean, if y'all feel like
You're
you
limiting,
want
you're
cleaning
limiting
it,
passengers on the bus, right?
right, the day when I talked to Ms. Good, you know, of course, it first started up today, it was 11 passengers. Now, we still have the social distancing marking so that, you know, they have to sit across from one another so they're, you know, more, 6 feet or close to 6 feet apart. And the passengers are wearing a mask when they ride. So
I thought we said 5, did I hear you say 5 the last time?
Excuse me.
5 would be on the bus at a time?
5 to 6 people on the bus
At one time?
at one
'Cause
time.
I thought you said 11, I wouldn't make sure.
I think that's all
No, we
she
had
wrote all
11
day.
a day that rode because.
Okay, 11 people.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
11 total on the first shift, and I don't know what's riding the second
Okay,
shift.
okay.
I still would like to see us at least one point during the day, even though we limiting riders, to just take that extra precautionary, just to, spray the bus down, at least
All right, do you want to hit it at?
midway the
midway?
shift or something,
The
yeah.
midway point?
Yeah.
Because we can do that at around noon time, I would guess, because they start at 7
Right,
in the morning picking up the first people. So if you went 4 hours into the shift, four and a half
Right.
hours, and then do it and then start it over again.
yeah, I think that would be a good thing.
And we'll have to put word out through the media and things that buses
Right.
being sanitized, because I think it would be a bit much if they parked one and jumped in one and then we ran 3
Right.
buses in a day. I can take care of that.
Thank you.
All right. And our PPE giveaway is close to becoming a reality. We have received all of our allotment from the state, and it's arrived. It's at the Golden Leaf Commons. The plastic bags that we ordered, see-through bags to put the materials in, they arrived, I think it was Thursday? Yeah, Thursday afternoon they arrived. We have a label producing, laser label, and we're gonna make a label for each bag. So we have a couple of employees that are gonna stuff the bags, and basically they'll get 2 pieces of literature printed front and back. They'll get 2 bottles of hand sanitizer and a 5-pack of the washable mask. All right, and then the bag will be sealed in the back, and it's got Greensville County cares, and, practice social distancing, wash your hands, cover your sneezes and coughs, and those type of things. All right, so then we can hand those out. I'm looking for some guidance from the board on the best way that you think that we can get to the financially disadvantaged parts of the county, what you think the best way is. So if you can get back with me on that at any time, we can throw that in. And I'm open to any suggestion on the best way you think your constituents would be able to receive that information or those materials.
Right. I personally think that we should do one in each of the 4 districts.
Right.
Pick a site that is like centrally located for everyone within that district to get to. And we public announce, show up, do some type of drive-through where they don't even really have to get out their car.
Exactly.
Pick it up and keep moving.
Because we're not concentrated enough. The city has the advantage, everybody's right there in one small geographical location, and when you look at our map, we're scattered to the 4 corners of the county.
Right.
So, but we would be able to put that together, and something to think about would be using a voting precinct, or something like that, in one of in a portion of your district, or in
Right.
Muscanes, we could use behind the Golden Leaf Common and just have them circle around and keep going. And I'd also talked to the Director of Social Services about the possibility of having some on hand for her, so in case, they have people that come in that may need those materials to pass them out, because people that go on there, they're financially disadvantaged. So that would fit that mold also.
Yeah, I think it would be best to do it in all 4, so that way we're making sure everybody is covered.
Right, everybody, yeah, each one, and then if we had some additional left, then we could distribute them through DSS and use it that way.
I think that's good.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
Do a time schedule for this, when we're gonna do it?
Yeah, do we know when we want to possibly start doing these?
Hopefully, we're gonna get those packets together this week, and what I wanna do is pre-box them and have them counted in boxes, so that when we go there, it's basically the only thing you do is you pull the plastic bag out of a box and hand it to somebody, and then keep going, so.
What kind of notice we're gonna give the public?
As much as you want to give, Mr. Brown. I'm thinking that if we put it on the webpage, put it out on Code Red, use the Independent Messenger social media page, I believe the word would get out as much as possible. If it looks like we have a good turnout, we know the word got out, and then we can do an
That's
article.
what we want. We want the word to get out.
Yeah, yeah. And it's hard to crack to getting the word out in Greensville County, because short of going door to door, because you're always gonna have somebody say, well, I didn't know about it, So if we pass the word through, and probably through the houses of worship, and we get the word out to the local ministers and things.
Should we have like a letter or something that we could just, like you said, just send it out to the churches, whatever, yeah?
Yeah, if it,
Something nice.
yeah,
Because that would probably- right now-
send it to the churches, and the churches will tell the congregations, and then, if we get the word out as much as possible.
That's why
Yeah, that would
paper
probably be
is always
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
If we put
Yes.
something
And
together like
I guess
that,
just let us know as soon as dates have been set, so
All right.
we'll know when it's going on in our areas, because I'm sure we'll want to go out and
All
support
right,
the
and I
event as
want to
well.
verify with y'all, what the board members, what you think the best location would be.
We get with you,
I-
I guess,
I
for
go
each
with Golden
district.
Leaf.
Okay, that's
Golden
fine.
Common works fine for me.
Yeah, I'm available anytime. All right. Have y'all got any questions?
I've asked all of mine.
Okay. Well, in closing, I'd like to remind them to wash their hands frequently, use hand sanitizer, practice social distancing, cover their sneezes and cough, and to wear facial covering when at all possible, if you can. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. With that being the last thing on our agenda,
Staff is going to ask that you recess to the conclusion of the water and sewer meeting so that we can go back into closed session and finish up those items that we did not complete.
Okay, can we now, can I get a motion that we recess to go back into closed session?
At the conclusion
At
of
the
water and sewer.
conclusion of water and sewer?
So moved.
Second.
It has been moved and second that we go back into closed session at the closure of water and sewer. Are those in favor of the roll call vote?
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Of the closed meeting, WS 20-48,
So moved.
Second.
roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye. The approval of the agenda. Need a
So-
motion.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye. The approval of the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye. There's no public hearing. Item with appointment, none. Old business, new business. We have WS 20-49.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It should be attachment D in your agenda packet. On June 12th, the State Corporation Commission ordered an extension of the suspension of utility penalties, fees, and service disconnections through August 31st. Staff is recommending that the Water and Sewer Authority also extend its suspension of penalties, fees, and service disconnections through August 31st. Although penalties, fees, and service disconnections will be waived, we'd like to remind our customers that your account is still accruing charges. You're still responsible for paying your water bill. Staff is recommending the following schedule. Past due utility payments shall be made in full by September 8th. Service disconnections for non-payment and reconnection fees will resume on September 8th. Late payment penalties will be applied to past due accounts on September 22nd, and customers who have suffered a documented substantial loss of income due to COVID-19 virus are encouraged to contact our business office and apply for a CARES grant. Applications will go out in the July water bill, which will be near the end of July, and the CARES grant application will be in there. We encourage our customers who have suffered a economic loss and they can document it, that they please apply for the grant. We want to help them. Are there any questions?
Just for clarification, you said service notifications and, service disconnections and non-payment and reconnection fees will resume on the 8th, but this says the 9th, so is it going to be the 9th?
The 9th, September 8th is when they're due in full.
Okay.
And on the 9th, we will
Just wanna
resume
make sure.
disconnections. Thank you.
I move that we approve the resolution WS 20-49.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. A. Stroud?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution WS 20-50.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We put out chemical bid awards every year for the authority, and the authority purchases a large number of chemical products for water and wastewater treatment. The authority received CO bids June 16th, 2020 for 22 different products. The bid prices will be in effect from August 1st to August 1st, 2020 until July 31st, 2021. There was a tie on one chemical product. According to the Code of Virginia, it provides that in the case of a tie bid, a public body must give preference to goods produced in Virginia or goods provided by Virginia persons, firms, or corporations. Brentag, being based in Virginia, should be awarded the bid on the chemical over WaterGuard according to this code. The authority staff recommends the authority to adopt resolution 20-50, WS 20-50 award the tie to Brentag.
I move we approve resolution WS 20-50 as presented.
A second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. Estrada?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye. Do you want the resolution WS 2020-51?
Yes, sir. The authority purchases large number of chemical products for water and wastewater treatment. The authority received bids June 16th, 2020 for 22 different products. The bid prices will be in effective from August 1st, 2020 until July 31st, 2021. The authority staff recommends the authority adopt resolution WS 20-51 awarding the chemical bids to the low bidder for each of the chemicals effective July 17th, 2020.
I move we approve resolution WS 20-51 as presented.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. Estrada?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye. Greensville County Water and Sewer Authority.
The policy that you have for the guidelines for the computer use and the technology guidelines are the same that were presented in the Board of Supervisors meeting. We just want to have this approved for the water and sewer authorities as you did for the county.
I move we approve the water and sewer security policy and guidelines as presented.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. Estrada?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye. Authorization to advertise the utility and maintenance workers' position. Okay.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Since February 2020, the GCSA Maintenance Department has been without a utility and maintenance one worker. Previous worker acquired a position at our Three Creek wastewater treatment plant. With the loss of this worker, it has been put much strain on the maintenance department. GCWSA's crew leader, Mr. Swenson, has advised me of the following concerns. It's difficult to get problems corrected in a timely manner. The workload has increased in recent years due to the addition of more facilities. The maintenance department has been completing work in emergencies daily during this time, but being a shorter worker makes it harder to complete with a full crew as needed. As you're aware, safety is our number one concern. Staff recommends sending 2 or more workers versus sending 1 worker to complete the job by themselves for safety reasons. The authority has added more stations and has taken on more service areas in the last 2 years. Staff is requesting to refill the position now to help keep up with demands of growth in our system. Filling this position was put on hold because of COVID-19. In closing, staff respectfully request to change the age requirement to 18 in the job description instead of 21. All duties, tasks, certification requirements can be obtained at the age of 18. Staff will request your approval of this change and approval to re-advertise the job position at this time. A job description is applied. And are there any questions?
I move we approve the advertising of the position and the changing of the job description.
I second.
Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. Estrada?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
Thank y'all.
I'd like to have a
Thank you.
motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Let me ask a question first. Do you have to go into close?
We do,
Awesome. So we need to recess to close.
yes.
Okay.
Not for water and sewer,
Right
I'm
here,
sorry,
okay.
only for board, yeah, I'm sorry.
So we roll for the adjourn. Roll call.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Conwell?
Aye.
Ms. Estrada?
Aye.
Mr. Kane?
Aye.
You can call the board back to order in closed session.
Supervisors back to order. Can we now go to closed session?